I feel like ringing the bell this morning. Let's get this started. We call this service to sacred and divine order, trusting that divine love and guidance will move through us, as us, with us, to us. Us being you and I, divinely linked as one, connected in spirit and in truth. Welcome to Sacred Space Sunday. Hello, beautiful wife. Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me? Okay. Let's get it going. Good morning.
Oh boy.
Joining us here this morning. What are you shaking the hand for? What's the handshake, babe? Huh? Okay. Well, we're working on the comments. Well, we see some folks who joined us. Good morning. Welcome to Sacred Space Sunday. We're excited to have you here. It is July 25th. You know, it's can't believe that the month of July is almost over. Just what, 6 days left in the month. This summer has just been flying like jet wings. I know for me, even since the last time we've seen you, it seems like, you know, I know it was only 2 weeks ago, but it seems like a really, really, really long time. So really glad to have you here with us on Sacred Space Sunday. If you're joining us from Facebook, good morning, MB3rd. Thank you. Good to see you today. Excuse me. Wow. That's that digestive system working. I had some coffee where it suggested that you add some turmeric and cinnamon and pepper to it. Now, we use cayenne, but some people use black pepper. But you know, they say cinnamon and turmeric are these super herbs or super seasons. Wow, I'll tell you, it does give you like a zoom. So thank you for being with me this morning. If you notice, I may be blinking a lot. I have I'm recovering from an eye infection. I have iritis. If anybody is familiar with the eyes, you know, you probably have heard of pink eye. You know, a lot of folks get pink eye, which is a bacterial infection. And iritis is a virus, like a viral infection. And so I've had it a couple of times. The first time was in when I was in grad school, and it seems to be induced by stress, but they haven't really figured out. This is about my third or fourth time having it, so they want to figure out what's causing it to reoccur. So I've been putting some steroid drops in my eye about the past week or so. So the inflammation is severely reduced, the pain is reduced, but my vision's still a little bit blurry and still some redness and sensitivity to the light there. So that's why you see me blinking. I didn't want to do the show in sunglasses. Just didn't seem appropriate. So welcome, Cheryl, DC, Joy, and Angela. Blessed to be here. Glad to see you here this morning. I'm excited. You know, Sacred Space Sunday is exciting to me for a number of reasons. One is, we've been doing this for about 1.5 years now. We've been live, we've been virtual the whole time. Many of you have been with us since the very beginning, but it always seems to fill a space for me, right? And I don't necessarily know what that space is going to be until it's over. And I know that it's been filled. And so I come this morning just so willing and open to receive whatever is going to be offered and whatever is there to be filled. I know I've got a lot of spaces that need to be filled in my life. And so good morning, Auntie. I love you as well. My favorite Auntie. I think I could say that. Yeah, I could say that. Well, it's true. So, I mean, it is what it is. Speaking of aunties, it came to me this morning. I've heard this saying that they say, you can't choose your family. You know, maybe some of you have heard that before. You can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends, right? And, you know, and there's some truth to that. But I'll tell you, there's something that's really, really beautiful when you do choose your family. When you do choose your family. And I'm not saying you get to pick who's in your family, but you get to choose to connect with them and allow them to connect with you. There's something really beautiful that occurs. And that just really hit me and filled me this morning with so much gratitude for my family, you know, my auntie, my mother, my sisters, and my brothers, and those who maybe I didn't always choose at some points in my life, not out of malice or any intentions that were impure, just in the space where I was. And so I'm in a space now that I'm really just grateful to be able to choose family. Good morning, Noreen. And to choose friends, right? And so the Sacred Space family, I'm grateful for you this morning. We know Neonu is working through some technical glitches and she'll be back with us. But if you're grateful for anything this morning, I'm just curious, what are you grateful for this morning? Let's get the chat started. What are you grateful for this morning? Let's get the chat started. What are you grateful for this morning? I just want to add some things to my gratitude list as we're going to fill this space up with some love, some divine joy, some divine peace, right? Some divine healing. I don't know exactly what you need. You know what you need. And even if you don't know what you need, I believe the source, which I choose to call God, knows what you need. And gratitude opens the space, right? Gratitude opens the space to receive whatever, right? Gratitude is the key. It's the key to joy. It's the key to love. It's the key to peace. It's the key to whatever it is. If you start with gratitude, then you create a space for that other things to come in and fill that space. So what are you grateful for this morning? Life. Yes, I love it, Noreen. Life. Yes. Yes. Waking up. Hallelujah, Auntie. Hallelujah. A lot of folks didn't do that this morning, right? A lot of folks, and Noreen, you and I together on the same page today. A lot of folks didn't experience the miracle of life today. So we're really grateful here at the Niyah Center. Now, the Niyah Center is an interfaith and empowerment community that recognizes and embraces the pluralism of religious traditions. Yeah, that means that when we say traditions, some people use the word religions. This is a space that's welcome for everyone, right? We look to transform society. No, we don't. Let me change that. We transform society through interreligious engagement, holistic wellness, integrated life programs, and social activism. Yes, friends and family. Hallelujah. Yeah. Yes. I hope I'm saying your name. Kamal. Breath, family, gifts, missions, mobility of body, mental factor. Ooh, you got me fired up. Thank you for that. Ooh, this gratitude list is on fire. Hey, Mr. Christmas. Yes, Mr. Man. Oh, this might be my man. Is that my man, Gabriel? So, man, let me, so if I identified and I wasn't supposed to, I apologize. But I've got a student who is just maybe one of the most wonderful human beings I've ever met. I mean, he's just pure love. You ever meet somebody that's just pure love? And when you meet them, like, they just care for you. They care for everyone. They want the best for the world. I mean, this kid here is it. And I'm so excited about the future that he's going to be a part of creating. So thank you for joining us. Yes, love her braids. Yes, she's got that Jamaican look. She went to Jamaica and started coming back with braids. I don't know what happened in Jamaica. What y'all do in Jamaica? When we get that, we got to get your mic fixed when you get a chance, baby. I got you on mute, I think. I got you on mute. Let's see. Let's try it again. Unmute.
Said it stays in Jamaica.
Okay, I heard that. Okay, I am grateful for mornings, transformation, the Niyah Center. Oh, good food. Yes. Unconditional love and forgiveness. Ooh, man, you hit it. Ooh, family and my health. Man, this list is on fire. That I said it right. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, awesome. I don't often get it right, but when I do, I like it. Thank you. Yeah, that's my man, Mr. Man. I love that name too, Mr. Man. Yeah. So I'll add this, man. And I know this is off script, but I just feel like I need to share a testimony for gratitude this morning. And so some of you may not be aware. Most of you may not be aware. I haven't made a public announcement of this, but a week ago Tuesday, I was carjacked. In Columbia, Maryland, in Howard County, Maryland, of all places. It was three gentlemen. I won't get into a long story. It was three gentlemen, three young guys, man. I could see it when they were going through it. I could see that they were young. And I know many folks that have gotten carjacked either end up dead or seriously injured. And these are things that can't be recovered. A car can be recovered. The items in your car can be recovered. And I'll tell you, as I was going through it was nothing but God's source. And we're going to talk about when it's divinely for you, because, what for me was like a slow motion picture, but it was happening very fast. And there were so many thoughts to react. I was like, I'm from Chicago. This is not getting ready to happen. To spirit, because I think I've been opening voice, say, just pause. And when I paused for 1 second, I was able to see these other two, so it was ended up being three of them in total, coming around from behind that was hiding behind the other cars. And so I just stepped back, and and the way it would have it, our car has this thing called BMW Assist. And about an hour and a half later, I was able to call BMW. And about an hour from that, they called me back saying, we found the car after a long police chase. So these cats drove about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. They were down somewhere in Virginia, Fairfax, Virginia, high-speed chase. I guess they watched too much Fast and Furious, thought they can get away from the police. Apparently, two of the cats jumped out and ran where they only got one. But the one guy rammed the car 30 miles an hour into the police cruiser and they said he pushed the cruiser about 30 feet, but it didn't work out well for him, safe to say. And so, fortunately, I'm safe. I'm healthy. I just had a little scrape on my finger. There was so much love and poured out and poured into me. And for those who I didn't share with, it was really no offense to you. It was really, I just needed to work through it. I mean, for several days, I really was just, I guess they call it post-traumatic syndrome. It was like I just kept replaying it in my head and like all the different scenarios of how it happened. I know I found myself being like, even, like somebody came up behind me and touched me on the back and I jumped. And so a lot of things were triggering me. And so I was just working through it. But I'm grateful today that I'm here. I'm grateful that I'm able to share this story. Thank you, Auntie. Yes, I'm grateful that I'm able to be in a space where I really, what really tugged at my heart was that, the car, we can get a new car. It was that what I thought about, and I don't know why my mind thinks this way, is what is it that we've done, we, the world, society, to have this little teenager, 19, 20-year-old, whatever their ages they were, to feel like these are the best choices that I got available for me. Right? That these are the best choices to go out and violently take something from somebody that's not mine, that looks like me in a lot of cases. Now, one of the kids was Asian, but the other two weren't. And so what is it that I can do to give an opportunity to create a space to have these kids maybe make some different choices? So that's what's really been on my heart the last 2 weeks since the last Sacred Space Sunday, to be with you. And so I'm grateful to be here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Nay, I know I was all script with that. So thank you for coming. Are we back?
That's it.
This stuff is worked through?
It's a critical testimony. I've got this love-hate relationship with these Apple AirPods. So, they got a mind of their own. So it makes me wonder.
Other things. It must be just something with StreamYard, huh?
Folks, we do a test before we join, and things worked perfectly. But this is what happens in the broadcast world, right? It was fine in prep, and then we go live, and Apple AirPods decided to do what they do. So, but we've got backup and triple up and all of that. But Mark, that was an important testimony. It's critical. We talk about here at the Sacred Space how vulnerability is strength. And so not to confuse being open and loving and giving as any lack of strength. And so the greatest strength that you showed on that day was the strength to know what was most important was staying safe, staying alive, and all material things can replace and really don't mean anything at all. And so that was the greatest show of strength. And then to share your story, to empower others, to let people know that, when something happens that's traumatic, there are reverberating effects that don't just immediately go away, and that it's okay to talk about that and explain it and reach for support and receive support. And sometimes support is thank you for your love, and I just need a moment to process. So thank you for being willing to share your story, because I'm sure that others have related from things that have happened to them, and then others of us will encounter something in the future and may be able to draw on this experience. So Mr. Man, you agree, AirPods, right? Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. I mean, what can you do? I want to get rid of them, and then I love them. I don't know. I
think it might just be the interface with StreamYard. We'll have to do some research on that. But the other thing, I talked to my daughter the other day, who was 2 years ago at Barnard. She's a student at Barnard. One of their freshmen young ladies was killed over her iPhone. And she brought that up in the conversation because I was telling her the story, a little more details. I had plotted in my mind. I was getting ready, I was one step from really lunging and all these kind of things. She's like, well, Dad, I'm so glad you didn't, because That's exactly what happened to Tess. And she was like, these kids, they're not getting ready to take my phone. And they stabbed her, and she's no longer with us in person. So that's real. And it just hit home for me. A lot of people have said it, but it just seemed to hit home where I finally had some peace and acceptance with the decisions that I made. Because I really was struggling. I'm just being transparent. I was struggling with, should I have done something different? And, anyway, so we're here today. What's divinely for you? I can't wait to hear you talk about this topic. Let me just run through these introductions. This is Neonu, Jewell. She is we call her something different every time. The minister, the founder, the spiritual director, the all things, the leader, the boss, the head shaker. I'm Mark Christmas. I'm our director of holistic wellness. And we're glad to have you with us. If there's any birthdays, we'll just run through this pretty quickly. I know some folks got some birthdays coming up. Happy birthday. And some birthdays you want to shout out anybody for their birthday, just please put it in the chat. And we'll acknowledge it and put it on the screen at some point if there are any birthdays. We want you to help us grow our community, right? It's really important because without you, we can't continue to expand and grow. So, every time you tell somebody about the show, or you come on the Twitch and you follow us, or you subscribe, or you give a bit, your love donation through a cheer or a bit through Twitch, or you subscribe on the other platforms, or you share it, from your page to some other page. Hey, Facebook user, yes. Those things help to expand our territory and to expand our space. And hopefully have an impact so more people can connect and get these messages. We feel like these things are making a difference, right? We've got folks that have come back. They could do a lot of things with their Sundays, right? Auntie, Cheryl, DC, Joy, Mr. Man, Kamal, the Facebook, all those that are on the day that even what they call it lurking on Twitch when you're there, but you don't comment. Those that are lurking in, is not a negative thing. It's just it's a Twitch thing, right? Lurking. Without your support, it wouldn't be possible. We started off with 0 followers. Now we've got almost 150. So on Twitch. And so we really appreciate your support. And you can continue to do that not only by subscribing here at Twitch, sharing it on the Facebook, on your Facebook pages if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, resharing it. But you can also make donations to Zelle or Cash App to support our capital campaign. And really the capital campaign is continuing to improve our technology and improve our opportunities to connect with you and the community, as we talked about, an empowerment community that recognizes and embraces these different traditions, but to transform societies. So that's how you can help us help transform society. Thank you so much for your love and support in advance. If you're interested in doing any sponsorship, you see we've got our logos, you see these banners running across the bottom. We have the ability to do that. And so if you're interested in a sponsorship program, please just contact us at the Niyah Center at gmail.com. Right, we'll get back to you. We can tell you what our packages are. We have a lot of packages. We can meet you wherever you are. I promise you. Right there, right, Nate?
That's right.
That's right. We will meet you wherever you are. Right. And so if you want to join us live in the studio, we've got space for up to 10 guests. Right. And we love to have other people come and share their perspectives. You want to join us live in the studio, send us an email. Same thing at niahcenter@gmail.com. We'd love to have you join the party. If you're interested in some spiritual counseling, with Neonu, or if you want some holistic wellness, I've got a client now. I'm a Reiki master, and I do that. I'm also a reflexologist, but I haven't done that since the pandemic. But I do the Reiki virtually. I not only teach people how to do self-treatment so they can help themselves to heal and protect themselves and their families and their environment from unwanted energy, all of those empaths out there that feel everything and end up taking it on, teach you how to not take it in to experience it, but to also release it and let it flow through you, not to you. We teach that, but we also can just give sessions to folks that just want to receive and connect to this energy to help them heal. And, we've got a lot of things that have happened to us over our lives. Sometimes it's a physical thing. We would fall and twist our knee. It's a physical ailment, but sometimes it's an action that took place, and maybe it's a hurt in our heart, a hurt in our soul. But we help you with those, and from long-standing traumas to just, I'm stressed out right now with the things that are happening in my life. And so if you got interested in learning more about how we can help you with that, contact us at the Niyah Center at gmail.com. Last thing I think is I think I already talked about the love donations, but I'll just put it up one more time. Want to help us expand this vision? You can expand this. You can support us at the Zelle or the Cash App, whichever works best for you, right? And also, next week is Sacred Space Sunday is 8/8. Actually, that's interesting because I'll be leading this conversation, and I don't know the topic yet. I'm still praying on it, but my number is 8. So I was seeing my Kappa jacket in the background. I pledged fall 88. I'm number 8. And so we're going to speak on 8/8. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do something about brotherhood. I don't know. We'll talk about it when we get there. So we'll know. With that, let's move in. You ready? Let's move into our affirmation. We've had folks on for 20 minutes, and I want to make sure we're making the most of their time. So today, as I think about the affirmations for today, and if you've not been with us a few times, what we've added to the program is every week we'll have an affirmation. Well, every Sacred Space will have an affirmation. So this is, I think, maybe the third or fourth one that we've put up. And the intention is to share it with you, and when I read it, I'll ask you to repeat after me so that you can read it out loud in the space that you are. And the reason that we ask you to do that is because when you acknowledge something, not only in your mind, but you put it in word in the universe then acknowledges and conspires to make that happen with and for you. That's why the universe is here. That's why it was created, to serve the inhabitants of the universe. And so we just need to tell the universe what it is that we want, right? And so our affirmation for today is, if you can just repeat it after me as I read this, is I trust Source, God, and I am divinely guided.
I trust Source, God.
I release fear and eagerly embrace what is divinely for me, letting go of all that is not. Let me just say it one more time. Just repeat after me, because there's something very powerful that happens when you say it. And just trust me, even if you're sitting by yourself, you're like, this is silly, nobody can really hear me. Just trust me then, and that the power that's generated by all of us in unison saying, even if you're watching the replay, just say it, trust that the power that is generated, because I trust Source. Somebody say, I trust God, or I trust I, whatever you choose to put in as your source. I trust Source. And I am divinely guided. I release fear and eagerly embrace what is divinely for me, letting go of all that is not. Yeah, that's our affirmation for the week.
Whew, that's powerful.
Yeah, it is. The hair on my little hands is standing up.
Yeah, I feel the energy too. I feel it. I feel it on my arms, right? I feel the tingling. Yes. Yeah, and I'm so glad you said it twice, because I was thinking, oh, I need to say it again.
Well, man, let's go ahead and set this thing off, man, and get us ready to move into this powerful conversation that I have.
So as you hear and feel the vibrations, just take a couple of deep cleansing breaths. Finding your posture of presence. I am here. I am breathing. I am here. I am breathing. I am here. I am breathing. For as we know, it is through our breath that we connect, we remember, we are conscious and aware of the beauty, the infinite possibility, the divine nature of the present moment that is constantly reinventing itself and symbolized through our breath. Each intake, each expression of air is life in action. And as we move from moment to moment, as expressions of life in action, we know that we are divinely guided. We are grateful for the grace that is our life. We know that all is perfectly unfolding, even if that circumstance is imperfect in many ways. And it is through our trust and our action that we transform our circumstances as we align with that which is divinely for us. We give thanks for all the life expressions that join us here today, for those who are here in spirit, for those who will watch in the future. We know that they are divinely blessed, nurtured, and loved. And we bring this collective energy together to form what will be the remainder of this time, the sacred space. And so it is. And so it is. So, thank you. I think with that, it's time to move into our conversation today. And it's interesting that Mark started with his personal testimony, what's been going on with him this last week or so. And I wanted to share a little bit about this message, when it's divinely for you, when it's divinely for you. So Mark, if you could put that up full screen for me, when it's divinely for you. I've had a lot of opportunities this past year to be clear about something was divinely for me, or I wanted it to be for me. And so I want to share this example because I'm looking at the calendar and it's almost August. And I'm like, wow, I'm a fall person because renewal and new things are always starting for me in the fall. And so August represents the end of summer and this next phase of the year, moving in to the fall. I, like many others, will be back to school and all that means. Back to school. No, like, you just graduated. How are you back to school? Right. A PhD, it turns out, is divinely for me. It turns out that a PhD is divinely for me. And I want to share that this is something that I fought for the entire 3 years I was in divinity school. I fought it last fall when the pandemic was in full effect and I was trying to go to school and work and do all of these things. And this notion that there was more for me to do, there was more for me to learn, that my scholarship and my vocation as a public intellectual was not done, and that there was more to learn, to do, to be, and that this doctoral program was it. And there were a lot of obstacles in the way. Oh my goodness, they want me to take a GRE. I'm not trying to take a standardized test at this point. I didn't want to take a standardized test when I was in high school, when I was in college, when I went to get my MBA, when I had to finish my JD and pass the bar. I didn't want to take any of those exams. Mr. Man, don't listen to me. You study for those. You study for those exams and you're going to do well. But I didn't want to take any of them. And I did, and I was blessed to do well. But I was like, at this stage of the game, last thing I want to do is take a standardized test. Ooh, I said standardized test. Something else might have slipped in there. We call that a Freudian slip. And that was like a major reason why I didn't want to do it, right? I didn't want to go back and relearn that math they taught me in high school. That was a problem. The school was like, well, we don't even know if we're going to have a doctoral program. Because of the pandemic, we might just scrap our doctoral program for a couple of years till we come out of it. So there were all these things saying, oh, this is not going to be easy. It was one of my toughest semesters in divinity school, and we were doing it virtually. And I had to do this big application, 20-page writing sample, get all these recommendations. It was a lot of work. I didn't want to do it. How could I do it? And yet, there was something that said, your work is not done, and it's through this doctoral program. Well, guess what, y'all? They waived the GRE requirement. I sent them an email. I asked them. I said, you know, these standardized tests are biased anyway. It's going to be hard with the pandemic to even take it. Can't you just waive it? They said, why, yes, we can. I talked to my colleagues. I said, oh, it's going to be hard to get this done in this time period. The school is saying they're only going to take 1 or 2 candidates. Should I just wait? My mentor said you could, but I think you should apply. Well, cutting to the chase, I did. I got it done, and I was accepted. But I didn't stop fighting or resisting. In the meantime, in the between time, I found this awesome job that would pay me a lot of money. I'm in school. I'm running businesses, but they dangled a great pay salary in front of me. I said, maybe I should do this. My family would really appreciate this income coming in. What are all the things we could do with that money? Rigorous interview process. Went through it. Other candidates moved to the top. Got down to the last 2 candidates, waiting for the response to find out who's going to get the job. And it took a long time for them to get back. Longer than it should have. And then this voice inside said to me, it's taking a long time because the guy's got 2 really great candidates, you and somebody else. And there's pros and cons, not really cons, but just different directions they could go. And so they're really deliberating because it's hard for them to choose. And you're taking up space that's not yours. Because this is not what's divinely for you. Woo! Woo! What am I going to do with that message? So I sent a note to the guy and said, you know what? I feel like you're wrestling with this decision. I'm going to essentially take myself out of the candidacy. I trust that we will reconnect in a different way at a different time and work together because there's something else that I am called to do. And I had to trust. And so I decided to get this PhD. And I will tell y'all, since I made that decision, the confirmations and affirmations that had already been there before have continued to roll in. Opportunities upon opportunities have continued to unfold. My work is like what's in the news every single day. I think about if I had taken that job and had nothing to do with the company, it'd have been the worst decision I would have made. And I still would have been thinking about going back to school. I ultimately would have got there, but I would have lost time and taken space that wasn't mine. So I say all of that to lead into my message today. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. Audre Lorde. I believe in an infinite conscious energy that is all-knowing and everywhere present. This divine existence is known by humans by many names: God, Source, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Yahweh, Oshun. All beings in materiality exist because of its nature, which is constant expression. It has a need to continuously create, express, replicate itself. Thus, our true nature, our reason for being, is divine expression. Our purpose is to fully express ourselves, our nature. Self-expression is God expression. Thus, we are divinely guided, nurtured, protected, and loved. When your self-expression is co-creation, when you are co-creating with Source, with God, success is assured. It is divinely for you. Thus, we exist in a universe of limitless opportunities, which are forever seeking expression through us, individually and collectively. This is why we engage in the practice of presence, always seeking to remember our divine nature, our connection, our oneness. But you may ask, how do we know the difference between co-creation and my creation? Source's will and my will. My way and the way. How do we know? Get still. Be silent. Sit with it. Meditate and pray. That's a powerful combination, y'all. Meditate and pray. It's not either or, it's a both and. Prayer is meditation. Meditation is prayer. Find your divine breath. Seek guidance. And then allow the still wisdom of time to do its magic. Notice when you're in prayer and meditation and post, what are you feeling in your body? Is it peace? Is it tension? Is it angst? Is it excitement? Is it curiosity? Is it anxiety? You know, we go to physical places to connect, and churches and temples and ashrams and mosques, and that's beautiful. But the temple, the ashram, the mosque, the church is actually you. You are that temple. The temple is always with you. Your body is your temple. Literally, it is where you go to connect with the divine. Within. Your body temple, your body mosque, your body church is where you can get that divine download that will provide you the GPS directions that you're looking for. It's not outside in Google, not even Waze, Angela. It's not in Apple Maps. Your true GPS directions reside within in your body temple. I'm talking about your God's positioning system. God's positioning system, that divine download that comes within, that GPS, that's God's purpose and strategy. Where you go to find what is divinely for you, that roadmap, it's within your internal GPS. By intentionally being open and tapping into that divine GPS, we can identify what is divinely for us. Okay, you say, all right, that sounds good. But how you do it? See, I know how to work my maps. I know how to work on Waze. I pull up the screen, I type in what I'm looking for, and away I go. It's real simple. So how do I tap in? How do I retrieve? How am I sure that I have got God's positioning system going? Well, I submit there are some signs. I'm going to share 8 of them today. 8 signs. I share my personal testimony, and you may hear these signs weaved through in terms of what I shared. Number 1, what you want or need comes to you easily. What you want or need comes to you easily. So that doesn't mean that you don't have to work for it. It means that when you are following a divine path and do your part, you will get the results clearly and directly. That's that God helps those that help themselves type of ease and clarity. Because we are taught life is hard, and often it does appear that way, when things work out and they work out without much effort, we actually don't trust it. We second guess it. That was too easy. We say we don't want it hard, but when it's easy, we're like, that was too easy. Things come to you easily. So it wasn't easy for me to get into the PhD program. I was working a lifetime to build the type of resume and to do the things that positioned me to be in that place. But once I had done that and I actually put the package together, it just happened. And how do you know the difference about whether it's coming to you easy? Again, get still, get silent with the situation, seek guidance, and notice how it feels in your body. I got all kind of divine messages continuing to tell me it's what I should do. Things come to you unexpectedly. Number 2, things come to you unexpectedly. They just waved the GRE. Oh, you don't want to do it? Okay. But not just for me. Then they waved it for everybody. Your good becomes the collective good. Magically, actually, divinely, grace sends just what you need when you need it. Now that's that not on my time, but always on time type of grace. An opportunity just shows up in your email or by phone. Oh, you need some extra money? Hey, I'm a client. I need your services. You didn't do some specific marketing, and it comes. Having a casual conversation, the answers that you have been looking for are solved. You're on the phone catching up with somebody, and they share a story, and magically, divinely, it gives you what you need, what you needed to know. Someone refers you to something. Someone has your back, or otherwise supports you without your knowledge or prompting. Things come to you unexpectedly that give you clarity about this thing you've been wrestling with. Number 3, obstacles are removed. You thought you didn't meet the qualifications, but somehow the qualifications got changed. You thought you were going to need 50 hours, but it's only 20. Obstacles are removed. You thought you were going to have to be in person, but it turned out it was virtual. You thought it was going to cost this money, but they gave you a scholarship. You thought you had a time conflict, but that other meeting got canceled. You say, I don't know the people. Somebody makes an introduction. Obstacles get removed when it's divinely for you. Romans 8:31-9 of the Bible talks about this. It includes the verses, if God is for us, who is against us? No, in all things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Well, hallelujah. Hallelujah. When it is divinely for you, things come to you unexpectedly. What you want or need comes to you easily, and obstacles are removed. Number 4, resources show up. You get the funding, you get the talent, you get access to training or education. You get the emotional support, you get the child care support. Your car doesn't break down. Because see, sometimes resources show up in a way that there's not something taken away from your resources. So sometimes it's the thing that doesn't break. It's not getting sick. Resources show up in ways that are explicit and things that come to you, but resources also show up in the things that don't happen to you. Sometimes we miss that. I hope y'all hear me on that one. Resources show up. Number 5, it works out. You had severe doubts, fears, but it actually authentically works out. Now, why would that one be there? Why would that be a sign? If it works out, it's already, happened. So why is that a sign? Because for some of us, when things work out, we look to find out why that still ain't the thing. Well, yeah, I know they offer me that, but well, yeah, I know that's come my way, but even when we get it, we still doubt, which is why it's important to be conscious of the signs of when something is divining for you. Because often we want source to tell us multiple ways, right? But when we say source tell us in multiple ways, we really mean tell me in the way I want you to tell me. Because source does tell you in multiple ways. But if that's not the way you wanted to be told, then you might miss it. It works out. Number 6, there is divine insight. There is divine insight. This could be intuition, a dream, an inspired idea. It just won't leave you. It's pulling you. You know it, yet you can't explain it. It's getting back in the body. It's something you know. It's that sense. It's that dream. It feels right. When you think about it and talk about it, it feels right. So let me pause for a moment to talk about fear. Because you'll read a lot out there about people like fearless, have no fear. Well, you'll know it if you don't have any fear. No, I disagree. I disagree. Fear is something the divine put in our systems as our protection. Fear is what tells us to not step out in the road when a car is coming. Fear tells us to run should a bear be behind us. But see, the thing is, we're not so often in spaces and places where an actual bear is behind us. The bears and the tigers of our ancestors look different now. The bears and the tigers of our ancestors look different now. So fear is something you don't want to get rid of. You just need to notice when it's supporting you and when it's not. So there is a sense of fear that will have you unsure, not clear. I've got some fear around going into this doctoral program. It takes some people 8-9 years to finish this thing. I'm not trying to do it in 8-9 years. I want to finish it 4 or 5 the most. What's that going to require? Am I going to be able to do it? I got a lot of other things I'm doing too. I'm not just doing that. Some people just devote one thing. I don't have the luxury of just doing one thing. I got some fear behind it, but that fear is not tension in a way that is anxiety. It is more just a not knowing, a doubt. There's a subtle difference. When you get divine insight, there should be an anticipation, a sense that it is for you. Even if you got some fear, you move through anyway. So the Quran, Surah 3, Ayah 73 and 4, that's chapter 3, verses 73 and 4 says, true guidance is the guidance of God. Do not believe that anyone else could be given a revelation similar to what you were given. All grace is in God's hands. He grants it to whoever he will. It is all embracing, all knowing. And God singles out for mercy whoever it will. Its grace is infinity. True guidance is the guidance of source. Number 7, you begin to meet and engage with like-minded individuals. You begin to meet and engage with like-minded individuals. This might mean finding a new network aligned with your vision or purpose. This could be on Facebook. This could be on live and in person. But you start to meet people who are on the same vibration that you are, who are about what you are about, or the people that you already know start to bring up topics that are aligned with what you're what it is you're thinking about. You discover authors, curriculum that further illuminate your path. You notice that reflections of whatever it is you're considering show up in strange places. You're watching a TV show and somehow the topic line is related to what you're wrestling with, or something you're reading, something you're discussing. You begin to engage with like-minded individuals. It begins to show up in strange places. This is that GPS sending you guidance signals, reminding you that this path is divinely for you. Number 8, you love what you are doing and recognize the joy and good it is circulating. You love what you are doing and recognize the joy and good it is circulating. So now you're operating in this vision. So you've taken the step from it just being an idea and you're actually doing it. And how you know it's divinely for you, as opposed to just something you're good at or something you chose or just what you're doing right now. Let me say that again. How you know it's divinely for you versus just something you're good at, something you chose, or what you're doing right now, is you love what you're doing and recognize the joy and good it is circulating. There is a different feeling in the body when you're operating in spaces of divine nature, when you're on your divine path, when you're moving in your grace and purpose. It feels differently in your body. It feels like home. There is a peace. There is a joy. That doesn't mean it's easy. That doesn't mean that every part and piece of it is great. Things still get on your nerves. There's still going to be things that go wrong. It's not perfect because we're not talking about perfection. We're talking about excellence. We're not talking about perfection. We're talking about connection. But when you're operating in that space of divine path, when it's divinely for you, you want to wake up in the morning. You actually want to wake up in the morning. You don't watch the clock the same way. time feels differently. You may be physically tired from what you're doing, but there's not that mental and emotional drain that is associated with the things that you do because that's what you chose. There can be things that you are good at that mentally and emotionally drain you. And when you are in that zone of doing what's divinely for you, even in those moments where there may be some mental drain, an emotional drain, along with the physical drain, you rebound quickly. You aren't thinking, oh, I hope I don't have to do that again. No, you want to do what it takes because you want to do it again. These are the signs, folks. It's not exhaustive, but these are some signs of how you know it's divinely for you. I want you to notice quickly as we come to an end here what's not on the list. What's not on the list? Other people's approval. If you use other people's approval as a validation for what's divinely for you, you'll miss it. Your timing, your packaging is not on the list. Your timing, your packaging. What's divinely for you sometimes comes to you at a time that wasn't your timing. Often it's not your timing. And definitely it's often not your packaging. It's not going to look the way you thought it was going to look. Something else that's not on the list, everything is perfect. When I said it will come easily, I didn't say it will come perfect. Everything is perfect is not on the list. What is also not on the list is just wait, just hope, just pray. I'm going to say that again for y'all spiritual folks, right? What's not on the list is just wait, just hope, just pray. Now, I did say meditate and pray and get still and sit to see what happens after. But that wasn't the end. That was the beginning. Action by you is also required. You must notice the signs that come after and take action on them. Practicing your faith is not passive. Co-creating with the divine is not passive work. It is an active convening with Source, with God, that shows us our GPS, our grace and purpose strategy. God's positioning system is activated through, yes, prayer and meditation and action. We must believe the signs and act on them. So with that, I will close with the insight plus application equals results. Yeah. I already previewed it. You already know what it is. You know what it is, right? Get still, notice, record. I think we got, yeah, there we go. Get still, that's the meditate and pray. Notice and record to get your God positioning system, your grace and purpose strategy. Now, what does that mean specifically? So to do this, I'm going to ask that one or two things or both. But first, recall an instance when you knew a path was divinely for you. Recall an instance when you knew a path was divinely for you. And write down all the ways clarity and confirmation showed up. Write down all the ways that clarity and confirmation showed up. And then keep it somewhere that you can retrieve. And so the next time that you are seeking divine guidance, pull that back up. So save it in your Dropbox, your Google Drive, your journal, wherever it is you keep stuff, right? And then the next time you are seeking divine guidance, pull that out to remind yourself that there were signs. You paid attention to them, and ultimately, the choice was divinely guided. Now, if right now in this present moment, you are currently seeking divine guidance on something, you're seeking that clarity, you're trying to make a choice, you're trying to be sure, write down that issue, that question, that choice, whatever it is. And like I said, the beginning, get still, pray, meditate daily for at least a week, but start to notice what you're seeing, what you're feeling in your body. Check in on your emotions, your sleep patterns. What end of the spectrum are they leaning? Is there a lot of tension? Are you fighting to make this happen? Can you not really sleep? Every time you think about it, you feel knots in your body? Or is this the subtle knowing, the subtle peace? There's still fear and doubt, and there may be insecurities, but somewhere in there is something saying yes, yes, yes. Check in and then write it down. Because there's something about writing it down that makes it real. And look for the emergence of those affirmations, that confirmation. Look for that pattern. Be willing to see it and accept it. I will offer in closing, there is nothing more beautiful, more fulfilling when you choose the path that is divinely for you. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. And namaste. Yes. Pain pushes until the vision pulls. Yes. Dr. Beckwith.
Wow. I mean, I think this comment, blessed messages, it says it all for me. So much. I mean, I don't even know where I want to start. I mean, when it's divinely for you, I definitely, that number 8, the number 3 and number 8. Let me just see if I can find them in my comments, in the comments that I typed in. Let me do it. So obstacles are removed. All right. I thought that was really interesting when you think about what moved out the way. What was it that moved out the way? And I definitely, I'm thinking in this case, I was thinking about some of the professional choices that I'm making. As you know, as I've talked before, making a career change from corporate business world to education. And it was something that I found when you said number 8 has been my experience this whole time, which is, you said so much and then we got so many comments, is that you love what you're doing and recognize the joy that is and good that is circulating. And that has been my reality, that has been my experience, is that it just keeps moving and circulating through and to. And so I think that's really interesting, because no matter what I do the night before, the only day I haven't gone to work is the day after I got carjacked. That's because I was emotionally distraught. But I mean, I still was dealing with that and was like, okay, I need to go show up, right? I also think when you love what you're doing, we talk about the joy and goodness, that not only do you pour in, but you're getting poured into, and that's just like, it's like the spin cycle, but you're not dizzy, right? You know what I'm saying? Little kids love those rides at the amusement park, the spin, they stick to the wall. I used to like them. I can't do them now as an adult, but it's that feeling without the dizziness, right? It's like, man, this is awesome. So I thought that was very, very interesting. Then I also will say that when you talked about this, is that wouldn't it be interesting to apply that to your relationships as well?
Oh yeah. No, this talk is not just vocation. It's all things.
Right. There's a lot of us that are struggling with some romantic relationships. Am I in the right one? Is it? I mean, Yo Baby, I don't know if she's still with us or not, but her and DJ C Sharp did a show a few weeks ago in their anniversary. And they did their top 20 things around tips to help stay in love. And she talked about it wasn't up until year 18. It was like, how many of us even gonna wait till year 18 to get to experience what year 18 is? And I gotta imagine without that list or something that represents that, what was it that said that? What was it that made me say yes in the beginning? What was it that made it work easily? If all those things were in place, then does that trump what the discomfort might be at this moment? And so, you know, and I think that goes, that's just not a male perspective, a woman. I think it goes both ways. And certainly it sometimes feels like, you know, I just had enough. But when do you know that to just not give up, but to keep going versus, okay, it's time? I mean, I think that's a good question too. So anyway, I know I'm babbling but I see you put a question up on the screen. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'm curious, you know, those who are listening, which signs resonate for you? And, you know, what have been some ways you knew something was divinely for you? Like I said, that list is not exhaustive, but certainly those are things that I have seen and know to be true as examples of how you can know.
Resources show up.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Amen. Yo, baby. Yeah. What
go ahead.
When you say which signs, are you talking about
of the 8 that I listed here?
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. I just wanted to be clear.
Which of these signs resonated, and then what are some additional, you know, ways
so
that
if I can hit some of them, that what you want and easily. I don't know that I captured 2 with a number, but I think 2 was not always on my time. But
things come to you unexpectedly.
Okay, yeah.
Things come to you unexpectedly. Opportunities seem to show up out of nowhere.
That was inspiring and courageous.
Thank you.
You were talking about that at that point. Not on my time. I mean, obstacles are removed. Resources show up. It works out. The bears and tigers of our hey, you got to come back to that. I want you to come back to that after we get some more comments from them folks. Because
yeah, we said there the next one, right? There's divine insight.
There's divine insight, right? But that's what you're talking about, fear, and the bears and tigers looking different. Is that some of that what's the organization AAPF talk? Is that code?
Hey, it could be.
Hey, but the thing is, sometimes there really are bears and tigers, and sometimes we've made the bears and tigers up in our mind, and our mind doesn't know the difference. Like this is what the mind does not know the difference between when there's an actual bear or you just told it that there's a bear. It reacts the same. That's what's amazing. Number 7 is you begin to meet and engage with like-minded individuals. 8 is you love what you're doing and recognize the joy and good that is circulating. Okay, let's see other things that came up. He said it's like parting the Red Sea. Woo! Look at y'all. I've been energized by walking in the door, even after having a tough time the last time I was there. Woo! That's powerful. That's powerful. Yes, DC Joy. Things come unexpectedly.
Yes.
Unexpected. What about you, Angela? What about you? I miss Angela's comments in the chat, and nor is it. The signs resonate for me are divine insights and resources show up. I can think about them in my head. I mean, this brother, every time he says something, I just feel like I want to cry. It's like, you know, feel like you're in the presence of God. You know, be around somebody, you feel like you're in the presence of God. That's how that young man makes me feel. Yeah. Whew. All right. Eyes watering as we speak. I do. Now, look, according to this StreamYard, we've got 8 viewers on Twitch, but StreamYard says we only have 7 viewers. So I want to, I don't know, we'd have a long after space today, but I do. Yes, Angela, obstacles are removed. I do got to play this Kirk Franklin Jackson 5 remix. And there's a video that goes with it. So I know we want to get and move into some of the other parts of the conversation, but I won't hold this song after that. But I do want to, for those that have not heard the song, trust me, I think if you haven't switched on over to Twitch, go ahead and switch and start following us on Twitch right now, because we're going to come off of YouTube and Facebook so you can experience this as we close out. And I think that it really ties in perfectly when it's divinely for you, because it's can you feel it?
So I suggest you go ahead and give us a closing prayer, and then we can be a Twitch exclusive afterwards. So we will close our broadcast, but Twitch folks stay on and go from there.
Yeah. So Heavenly Father, I thank you. I thank you in this moment for your peace. I thank you in this moment for your love. I thank you for what's divinely for me, Lord, and the message that was shared, the hearts that it touched, the ears that were open, maybe the burdens that were light, the sea that was parted, as we heard that said in the comments, Lord. And maybe there's someone like me that's just struggling with, what do I do next, Lord? Am I supposed to move this way? Am I supposed? Well, what about the money, Lord? But what about and all the what abouts that I came up with that seem to stand in the way of really what's divinely for me, Lord? What about my unwillingness to say yes? If I'm unwilling to say yes and it resonates, Lord, help me to be courageous, as a young man said. Help me to recognize fear that is paralyzing and embrace courage that is mobilizing. Help me to move through the fear and with the fear, knowing that, trusting that was because it's divinely for me, it's going to work out, Lord. And whether it's in the job, Lord, if it's in the romantic relationship with husband and wife and boyfriend and girlfriend, friends, that do I still want to be with them? Is it worth it, Lord? Yes, you know. And if it's not, Lord, let me know that it'll be all right. That's because it wasn't divinely for me. You're making space for what is divinely for me. So let me help me to accept and have some peace with what is divinely for me, even when it's not the thing that I think it's supposed to be. Because Lord, I know some of us, Lord, maybe be having some hard times, and we've had some difficulties, and we've had some past experiences that we keep bringing to the front, Lord. And help me, Lord, to not be the bag lady or the bag man, and to just leave that and to move forward. Because when I leave that and move forward with the gratitude and the grace that you give me power. Because all that is the source that you are, and that is in me, that is in the world, and that is a part of me, and for me to open up space to receive that. And so for anyone that may be hearing and resonating with some of the things that have been said, or they got those secret prayer lists in the closet, Lord, if it's for them, Lord, if it's in your will that they be better, Lord, if it's in your will that they move to a different position, if it's in your will that their relationship work out, if it's in your will that they continue on in this physical presence, if it's in your will, Lord, if it's divinely for us, then Lord, let it be. And Lord, if it's not in your will, give us the peace to accept that. And I thank you for covering us and bringing us together, connecting us, Lord, because we know that things can be different because we choose them to be different, and we're in action to be different, Lord. And so I say, Lord, the divine, what's divinely for this earth, Lord, that you allow each of us to be courageous to choose that, so that this world can experience what's divinely for them. In your name we pray. Amen and Ashe.
Amen and Ashe. All right, folks.
You taking us out of the other things, or you want me to do it?
No, I got it.
Okay. Well, let me know when you're there. In the meantime, I'm going to share something with y'all so you can see it and hear it, because you got to share the audio. Now, I know there's some Jackson 5 fans in the chat. If you're a Jackson 5 fan ever in your life, just go ahead and just put something in the chat. If you know who the Jacksons are, I mean, hopefully everybody knows who the Jackson 5s are right now. We ain't got to go there, right? Neonu, can you hear me? Did I lose you?
No, I can hear you fine. Okay. I just,